Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm here to talk about Beyond the Gates, Season 2, Episode 15. Sorry about that. All right, so we start the episode off with Jacob and Naomi. They're at Orphe Jeans, and I guess they're having breakfast together. And Jacob is offering her coffee because he's just like, she didn't sleep that night. And he was just like, he doesn't understand how she didn't sleep now that, they got the test results and they're negative because he was able to sleep like a light. And she's just like, yeah, well, and then he's just like, so there is something to worry about. And then he starts to talk about, oh no, you're still worried about your mom. Da 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 da. She tries to tell him, like, she half-ass tries to tell him. Honestly, she doesn't really like put that. Look, this is what it is. She's just like, well, um, like she beating around the bush, trying to tell him without really telling him because she doesn't want to tell him clearly. So they're talking and then they talk about how he's got a new case and he has to leave because he asked the waitress when she comes up for the check and she's just like, oh, I wanted us to talk. And he was just like, okay, well, what's up? Let's talk. And she's just like, oh, well, maybe we can talk with our therapist. And he was just like, if it's that serious, let's talk about it now. And she gets ready to say it, but not really. And then Isaiah pops up, and so she invites Isaiah to sit down with them or whatever. And they all start talking, and Jacob is complaining about their dad and how he's like on him, and this, and that, and it's just like Jake. Isaiah is just like, well, you're his golden child. So if he's on you, then it may be something else. And then Jacob mentions him going undercover, and it's just like, sir, you are in a public space telling your wife and your brother where anybody can hear that you're going undercover. What type of undercover are you going? Because are you going undercover as in you're going as somebody brand new, or are you going undercover as you're watching them from a distance under the cover? Something like that. Because you telling people out in public like this, and again, I don't see how you're going to go undercover as somebody else when everybody should know who you are. Because I'm guessing when you did get married to her, everybody was privy to a Hamilton and a Hamilton slash Dupree getting married to the chief of police's son. So I don't know what type of undercover you thinking you're doing, but you ain't going undercover. Clearly, you can't be going undercover like that in this town. But I digress. So, so he has to leave or whatever. So he leaves, and Jacob and I guess Jacob and not Jacob, but Isaiah and Naomi stay, but we really don't see them have a one-on-one conversation. We see at Shanice and Ashley, and Shanice is telling Ashley about her night and how it was her night, evening, morning, midday, all of that was good and all this other stuff. And they're all cheesing about it or whatever. We see Grace flirting with Ashley, and she's just like, oh, he wants to go on a coffee break with her. But what's it called? What's her name? Ashley's just like, oh, I can't go. I have work. And Shanice is just like, oh no, you can go. You have a break. Like, go do you. So they go on a little coffee break to Orphe Jeans, and they're, chatting, flirting, talking about cats or whatever. And Derek pops up, and he comes and sits down with them and just like, oh, what are y'all talking about? Grayson is annoyed because it's just like, okay, so you the ex. Like, I see who you are now, because what is this? Because you popped up on me the other day asking me about her, and now you popping up on us now, like intruding on our date. Like, what's the deal? Like, and Grayson is just like annoyed. Ashley is just like, what is this? And Derek is just sitting there cheesing, and it's just like, So we see where this is going clearly. So Grayson leaves and Ashley was just what's up? I thought we were supposed to be friends. Like, why would you just do this? Why would you interrupt our date? And he was just like, we are friends. And she was just like, oh, okay, so now I know who told my mama, and you ain't ish for that, basically. So she goes back to the hospital and she's complaining to Shanice about Derek, and she's just like, um, uh she's complaining to Shanice about Derek, and she's just like, I wish he had somebody else. So she talks Shanice into talking to Derek so that he can go on a date with another girl or whatever. So Naomi pops up and Ashley's just like, oh, are you here to find out your test? And she was just like, I already know the results. And Ashley's just like, so you test, so what's the results? And so Naomi tells her, and it's just like, you told this girl that quickly and that easily, but you can't even tell your husband. Naomi gets on my nerves. So again, Ashley's just like, well, how does the family feel? And she's just like, oh, I haven't told him. And she was just like, what about Jacob? And she's just like, oh, I haven't told him. And she was just like, well, why haven't you told him? Because again, why haven't you told your husband? It's been a couple of days. This is something you should tell your husband. You would be mad if your husband kept something from you, but you stay keeping things from him. And that's not cool. So she so she's just like, oh, he's got a new case, this, and that, all this other stuff, and blah, 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 blah. And she doesn't want to, she doesn't want to burden him and all this other stuff. And it's just like, that's your husband. Like, y'all need to burden each other. Like, what are we talking about, Naomi? So Ashley's just like, your secret is safe with me. I'm not going to say anything, whatever. We see, Jan and Mona, they're at Uptown and they're, talking or whatever. And Jan is complaining about Ashley dating this boy and how she doesn't understand how her daughter would do this, and she doesn't know what she wants, and all this other stuff. And Mona is just like, pot meet kettle. Like, how are you talking about your daughter meeting somebody when you're doing the exact same thing? And she's just like, well, I've been single for a long time, so I know what I want. But Ashley, she just got out of a relationship and she doesn't know what she wants, and and Mona is just like, well, maybe this is her way of finding out what she wants. Like, she needs to date. Like, this is a rebound. She's not telling you that she wants to be with this man forever. And so Mona's just like, okay, well, what do you know about him? And Jan is just like, she hasn't told me anything. If Derek hadn't said anything. And Mona was just like, well, what is it Derek's business? And again, what is it Derek's business? Why are you running to tell my mama that I'm dating somebody? Are you okay? Like, what is we on, Derek? Like, what's good? Like, what's wrong with you? And you too, Jan, why are you running off just because of what Derek said? Like, girl, talk to your daughter. Like, quit scolding her. Quit telling her what to do. She's a grown woman. Like, if she wants to date somebody after a rebound, she can date somebody after a rebound. Just because you stayed single for however long you stayed single for doesn't mean that your daughter has to do the same thing. Like, she can't live your life. She has to live her own. Like, let her do that. Why are you trying to tell her what to do? You tried to tell her to stay with this man when clearly your daughter was crying out for help to you, saying she really didn't want to be with this man, but you kept talking her into staying with him. And then look at them. And then you still have this good relationship with this man who lied to your daughter. Granted, it wasn't that big of a lie because it was just like, yeah, he had a feeling in his leg. It wasn't like he was walking around and acting like he wasn't walking, but still, like, girl, why are you having this? Anyways, she need to be with Derek. That's what it is. That's what it is. Like, just be with him. So we see Leslie, she goes to Eva's place and she's like, she's coming there to see what Eva's about to do, what Eva's going to do about Valentine's with Isaiah. And Eva's just like, we don't need no made up holiday to say, well, how we feel about each other. We're just going with the flow. And Leslie's just like, who are you? This is not the daughter that I raised. Like, no. And Eva's just like, well, what are you going to do? You have plans with the detective? And clearly you don't know that that man is married because yeah, well you should know your mama only goes for married men, but whatever. So she was just like, "Oh no, I don't have, I don't have plans for him. I have, I have better sights or something like that." And Eva was just like, "Please don't tell me you're holding out for Ted." And she was just like, "We're friends, and then we're gonna change into lovers. We're going friends to lovers or something like that." And she starts singing the dun, 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 "Here Comes the Bride," and Eva was just like, "He's dating someone." And she was just like, who he dating? And Eva was just like, "I'm not going to tell you because I know what you're going to do. I know you're going to go into your bag of wigs and pull out a new wig and do all this other stuff." And it's just like, exactly. Eva, you know what your mama will do. You know what type of time your mama is on. You know who your mama is. So when you keep trying to act like, "Oh, my mama was da, da, da," no, you know who your mama is. She raised you. You know what she would do. So quit trying to act like my mama's stop it. You knew exactly what your mom was gonna do. So Eva wasn't trying to tell her who it was, but Leslie was just like, "I know who it is. It's that nurse Ratchet," and da 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 da, being all classist while everybody talk about Cat is a classist. No, Leslie is a classist. That's who Leslie is. But whatever. So she's making all these snide remarks um about Shanice and whatever, and uh Eva's just like, "Please don't go to the hospital and do anything because you're gonna ruin the relationship that you have with my dad." And it even sounds weird when she says it. Like, I really hope we find out that that's not her dad, because but I know that's not where it's going, but whatever. Um, but Leslie's just like, "Of course I wouldn't do that. I'm not going to go to the hospital. I'm not going to do anything that would jeopardize my friendship with Ted and da 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 da." But Eva, you knew exactly where your mama was going to go because she ran. She ran, not walked, but she ran to the hospital to confront Shanice about talking to Ted or whatever. And she was just like, "You need to keep your hands off my man." And Shanice was just like, "Girl, that's not your man. That's your baby daddy. Like, girl, leave it alone." And Leslie was just like, "No, we made love just a couple months ago." And it was just like, "No, you took advantage of a drunk man. Stop it." But whatever. Ted will never say it for what it is, but we saw it. That man was drunk. He told you no, and you closed the door and still kept going. You took advantage of a drunk man. Y'all ain't make no love. That man couldn't even remember, but whatever. So she was just like, "You're just a warm hole and he needs a release," and da da da, all this other stuff. And it's just like, mm, that man ain't checking for you, Leslie. Since he signed those divorce papers, he has not been checking for you. And the fact that Ted even said, "Let's be friends," you are like, Ted, you are part of the problem. You won't let her know, "No, we can't be friends. No, I don't want you anywhere near me. No, I don't want you anywhere in my life." Just because we share a child don't mean we have anything to do with each other. You kept said child away from me, and you wielded her as a weapon against me for something that I didn't even know about. So no, I can't be your friend. No, no, I can't do no favors for you. No, I don't like you. No, I don't want to be in your presence. Stay away from me. That's what Ted needs to say. But Ted would never do that. But whatever. Sorry. I done went off on a tangent. Um, so Shanice tells her just like, "Girl, whatever. It is what it is. I'ma be you can't say nothing, you can't do nothing to me. And I'm gonna call security on you, so you need to go." And Leslie was just like, "That's fine. We'll pick it up. We'll pick this back up when when you won't see me coming." And it's just like, so you about to try to do something against this lady like you did to Laura. And it's just like, I need somebody to do something because what is this? But whatever. So we see Bill, he's in the office, and Danny pops up, and Danny pops up, and he's just like, "Why are you here? Um, like, why are you here? You need to leave." Da 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 da. All this other stuff, and Danny is just like, "Oh, you want me," and da 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 da. So she goads him into saying like, "You want to be with me," and all this other stuff. So he was just like, "No, I don't want to be with you. I want to be with my wife." Da 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 da. And she's just like, "Well, if that's the case, then throw me out." So he goes to throw her out, and then they start making out or whatever. Um, Thank God we find out it was a daydream because Tomas is over here calling his name. And I was just like, child, if this was real, I would have been highly, when I say highly pissed at Danny for even entertaining this man. Cause it's just like, girl, this man, again, disrespected you in the highest of forms. And you still keep continuing to go back to him. Like I I really hope, like I hope that we like Danny learns her lesson and is just like, you know what? I don't this is not for me. I need to leave it be. This is wrong, but we know that they're going to circle back to each other, which is again highly irritating and highly annoying because he doesn't deserve any of the um he doesn't deserve this all this stuff that he's getting from Danny because you haven't done anything to earn it. But I digress. Sorry. So he's talking to Tomas, and Tomas is, they're talking about something. I forgot what they were talking about, but they were talking about something, and he tells Tomas that no, Tomas is just like, I would keep all your secrets. Like no one's gonna find out without like no one's gonna. I'm not gonna say anything about the kiss that I saw. So Bill makes him junior partner. So it's just like, so you made him junior partner to make sure that he wouldn't say nothing about Danny, about the kiss that him and Danny shared the night before. I was just like, child, whatever. So we see Danny, she's meeting up with Pamela, and she tells Pamela that she kissed Bill the night before, and it was like Pamela gets mad and she scolds her and all this other stuff, and it was just like, ma'am, why are you getting mad and saying anything when you're the one who told her to lean on that man? You told her to lean on him. She did not need to lean on him. She has a whole village and then some. And you still told her that she needs to lean on Bill when she don't need to lean on him. So of course, you know who your friend is. She took her happy tail over to that man to lean on him and kissed him. So why are you now trying to say something about it? Like, why are you now trying to reprimand her? Like, what is this? Okay, whatever. So Danny is just like, I understand. I'm not gonna lean on him. I found out, I realized that Andre is the best thing that that ever happened to me, and I'm not gonna mess this up for anything or whatever. And it's just like, I hope and pray that she is going to stick with that because I cannot see her hurt my boy Andre because he don't deserve that. So they see Isaiah, and because they start talking business, and they're talking about how they need a new model who can do X, Y, and Z or whatever. And they see Isaiah, and they want to ask Isaiah to be a model or whatever. But Eva shows up, and they start kissing or whatever. And Danny was just like, I'm gonna get with him later. So Eva had called Isaiah, and she calls him down to Uptown or whatever. And he was just like, they're talking about if they want to get something to eat, and they're just like, well, no, because he had breakfast. He's still full from the breakfast that he had with Jacob, and she's still full from the coffee that she had with her mama. And she was just like, man, I just called you down here because listen to my mama, because you let your mama get in your head again. Um, and so they decide to go back to her place to work up an appetite or whatever. And it's just like, oh my God, y'all are boring. Sorry. So we see Vernon and Anita. Vernon is at the house. Anita's getting ready for chemo, and Vernon is, getting, he brought her a book and he's got his keys ready to go. And she's just like, no, you're not taking me. Someone else is. Sharon shows up and he's just like, are you sure? She was like, I'm perfectly fine. I'm good. You relax. You go. I something for you with Martin at the club, and y'all go do y'all. I'm gonna go and be with my sister. We need some time to bond or whatever. So she goes to chemo with Sharon, and she's talking to Sharon about how she's been looking at estate planning and all of that stuff whenever Vernon goes to sleep, because she doesn't want to burden him with that, or um she doesn't want to she doesn't want him to have to deal with that at the end, when the time comes or whatever. And she just like, let's talk worst case scenario. So basically she starts talking about how she's been thinking about her home going, and she wants to plan it, and she is afraid that she hears about all these couples that are so in love with each other, and she didn't realize how intertwined her and Vernon's lives were until she had went to Chicago to practice with the girls when they were going to do the concert, and she could feel that he needed her from so far away. And she's just like, she's heard about those couples who were so in love with each other that one passed, the other one followed right after, and she can't bear it if she's the reason why Vernon's heart is broken. And it was just like that's so sad. Like, that's wild. It's really, really wild. That she would think that, but it's just like the love that they have for each other. Like, if something were to happen to Anita, like the way the show is, if this was real life, I feel like if something were to happen, if this was a real life situation, if something were to happen to Anita, like if she were to have passed on, Vernon would legit follow suit, because his heart would be so broken that he couldn't go forward. Again, hopefully on the show they don't like it. She beats this because she is the matriarch. They are the matriarch and the patriarch of the show, so I don't think that they're going to go that route where we would lose Anita. But then again, I don't know what Tamara Tooney's contract is. If she didn't sign on for something long term, that's probably why they're doing this, and that is probably where they're going to go, and they're going to turn this like into like a younger soap. Because if we do lose Anita, we would only have the patriarch, and I can't see them bringing somebody else in to fill Anita's shoes or whatever. So, but yeah, so she was thinking about that, and Sharon is basically saying, "Look, we got Vernon. Like, if worst comes to worst, and you do go home to glory, your family is gonna be there for Vernon. Your daughters will, your grandkids, me, and the other articulate. Why can't I think of her name? But the other articulate will be there. They will hold him up and make sure that you know that he is taken care of and that he's never alone." And so she was just like, "But enough of that. Go ahead and take you a nap." So she sings Anita to sleep or whatever. So Anita, they come home from the chemo, and um Vernon is asking, how was it? How did everything go? And Anita was just like, everything was, and then she passes out. And that's how the episode ends. And it was just like, oh, dang, this was a good episode. This was really good. Let me see. Did I miss anything? Did I miss anything? I don't think I missed anything, because I did miss something in the last video. um, Mona was talking about how she, she's fine with how her life is because Jen asked her about her love life and she was just like it's non-existent or whatever. But yeah, for the most part, that was everything that happened this episode. It was a good episode. Again, these episodes have been firing on all cylinders. They have been like an episode or two that was just like okay, whatever. But so far so good. There hasn't been like Leslie and Eva, they don't irritate me as much. They still irritate me, but not as much as well. Maybe they do irritate me because I feel like every time I mention them, I go on a tangent. But anyways, that was the episode. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications so you'll know whenever I post. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought, and I will see you guys in the next one.